Well, hi there. It's Monday and time for Monday Mastery, and I'm author and dating coach Rick Sodabeer, and I'm your host tonight to walk you through the ins and outs of dating and relationships. And it's been a long. It was a long day yesterday. I had a little over 11 hour drive, and I am, if you are with me at all or follow me at all, you recognize that I'm in my RV, and so it's nice to be back in the RV, if nothing else, at least for a week. So I am just getting reacclimated. I woke up this morning and wasn't sure where I was because it was so much darker down here at 6 o'clock in the morning. And so that was kind of waking up and saying, "Why is my alarm going off and it's still dark?" Well, it was Kansas. So anyway, I hope you all had a great week or great week last week and a great weekend. And last week was an interesting week. I was having a conversation with a lady friend of mine, and we were talking about the difference between dating um, and just friends. And part of the confusion comes in that when we talk about dating, it can be either casual dating. Hey, Addie, thanks for joining in. It can be either casual dating or it can be serious dating, and that gets confusing for a lot of people. In days gone by, it used to be called courting. When you were dating seriously, you'd be courting to see, because you'd be working your way towards marriage, and that's what serious dating is all about, is working your way towards dating. And so the idea is that if you're just friends, in today's terminology, if you're just friends, you can still go out, you can have a good time, but there's no commitment, and there's realistically, the big difference is there's no effort. Neither one has to put in any effort to make the relationship work, or to see if the relationship is worth pursuing. Because you're just friends, you're just doing things casually, and there's no pressure, there's no demand, no nothing. So and obviously no commitment. And dating in today's terms is you're a bit committed, from the standpoint that hopefully, if in today's terms, if you're dating, you're with that person exclusively, and unless you're dating around. And that's why I like the term courting, because when you're exclusive, when you're together and you're looking to try to build a relationship, you're looking to grow your relationship together. You're looking to see that you are compatible. You're looking to see that all of the pieces fit. You're looking to see that there are no hidden warning signs or hidden red flags. And that's what's so important. And I've decided this weekend, as I was traveling, that I am going to start using the term courting more formally now, because it puts a distinction in in our dating and courting process. Being just friends. We've all heard the dating jokes about, oh, I've been friend zoned, or he's been friend zoned, or she's been friend zoned, and it's just a matter of them not having an interest in dating. And when you're just friends, you typically aren't going to go out. You're typically not going to do things together. I mean, if you're in each other's company, and you're probably in the company of others, and it's a fairly straightforward. There's nothing there, at least for one of you. And the second, the second part, the second step is moving into into dating, and dating is where you're going to get out and do things together. You may not do it in a committed way. You may not do it in a you're basically friends and just going out and doing things together. You're not locked in. You may date this person today. You may date that person tomorrow. You may date somebody else the day after. That's a healthy dating life if you've got that many dates in a week. But it's not uncommon. And the older we get, with the fewer dates we have per week. I remember, as a young man, I could have a couple of dates a week, and there was not as much thought about it, because it wasn't serious. We all knew that we all knew the couples that were seriously dating, and as I will call it from here on out, the couples that were courting, the ones that were serious about looking for a relationship and looking to settle down. So that's really the gist of the argument, is that there is for the conversation I had with my friend, the gist of it was that, to the difference between friends and dating, in terms of today's vernacular, is that there's a lack of commitment as friends. Friends, you can do things together, but you're not necessarily committed. And her contention was that she wants to be friends and see if it grows to be something greater. When she meets somebody, and that's okay. But that can take, how long does that take? I mean, either you have an interest or you don't. And and I know there are situations where you can be friends for years, and you finally one day realize, hey, why are we, this is feeling a little different. This is feeling much more like a connection, much more like more than friends. And why don't we explore dating? And you can do that. But if you're serious, and I don't want to say in a hurry, but if you're serious about finding your soulmate, if you're serious about finding that special person in your life, you need to invest time in doing that. And to be in a relationship, in my opinion, as just friends, you run the risk of investing a lot of time with little or no potential for return, because you just don't know, if you're serious about exploring a relationship, then take the time and explore the possibilities of a relationship. If you just want to hang around and do things together and maybe something will happen, maybe it won't, well, for most of us, that's not a way to develop a relationship. I mean, unless if you're in your 20s or 30s, maybe, and even maybe in your 40s, but you still end up wasting a lot of time or investing a lot of time in somebody, or at least one of you does, in hopes that it's going to turn into something else. Unless, of course, neither of you are looking for anything to begin with, and then, okay, who cares? If neither one of you wants a relationship and you're just hanging out and being friends, okay, that's fine. But again, if you're looking to develop a relationship, if you're looking to move towards marriage, then it goes from friends to dating to courtship, and it's that process that takes you to that ultimate goal. Now, just because you're courting doesn't mean that it's going to absolutely turn into a marriage. There can be a lot of landmines that pop up. There can be hurdles or obstacles that or warning signs that pop up that say, yeah, this just isn't working for me, or this, I'm seeing things here that just aren't healthy, that aren't good for me. And that may sound a bit self-centered, but you realistically have to look out for yourself. You have to look out for you first. You can't be always putting the other person ahead of you. It's extremely important to understand what's important to you. What are your must-haves? What are your deal breakers? And understand that these are the things that are going to be your standards, your boundaries that are basically the entry level to where you want to be in a relationship, or where you want to start in a relationship. And if they don't have everything that you're looking for, and you're not going to, you probably are not going to find that out in the first date or two. It takes some time. You have to invest time with somebody, but in doing that, you have to make some commitment. You have to take some time and invest that time in that person. And in my opinion, you have to do that by courting or dating exclusively. It's not something that just magically poof happens. You need to take time and review your partner. They need to take time and review you. They need to get to know you. What are your good qualities? What are the things that are lurking in the closet? And we all have those things. I know I do. It's just, they have to understand what your triggers are. They have to learn. You have to learn what their triggers are, what upsets them, and they have to learn what upsets you. And when you do that, that's how you start to develop a relationship. It takes time, and it takes an investment. But if you're doing it haphazardly or without any significant commitment of where you're headed in the relationship, in my opinion, it's just a wasted effort. And I hate to say wasted effort. It's never a wasted effort's never wasted when you're getting to know somebody. But at what level are you getting to know them? Are you getting to know them on a personal, intimate, and I don't mean sexually intimate. I mean on a intellectually intimate basis. Are you getting to know them, the deep down parts of the person? Are you getting deep insights into who this person is? Are they somebody you'd really like to spend time with long term? Are they somebody that you can see spending the rest of your life with? Because let's face it, if you're courting and looking for a long-term relationship or looking for marriage, you're looking to spend the rest of your life with someone. This isn't just for most of us, this is more than a job application that you're going to spend a few years and spend only part of your life. The idea is that in your next relationship, you should be wanting to spend the rest of your life there. And you should be looking at the long term, not just short term, not just the next couple of months, not necessarily the next year or 2 years or 5 years. What is this relationship? Where do you see this relationship in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years? Because most of us, hopefully most of us listening and participating in the conversation are going to be here 30 years. That's pushing it for me because I'm already 66. But the reality is most of us are going to live into our late 70s, early and mid 80s. So you have to look, are you going to spend the next 20 or 30 years with this person, and can you see that relationship lasting? What are the landmines that you're going to come across? These are all things you have to think about. But you can't do that if you're just friends. And just friends, because just friends are there, again, there's no commitment. if there's no commitment, why should I take time to get to know the deep, intimate parts of you, and vice versa? Why should you get to know me on a deep, intimate level? There's not a real there's other than maybe you have a fascination with this particular person, but if you don't have a romantic interest, and that's part of it too. If there's no romantic interest, then why invest the time? If you're looking for a long-term relationship, you need to be looking for that person to fill that role. To and I'm not talking about that casually. That's something that needs to be done seriously. It's this is you're looking for a partner. You're looking for that special someone that's going to enhance your life, that's going to bring a new level of joy, excitement, frustration, and because this is all part of it. You're going to get frustrated, you're going to get upset with each other. It's not a this is not something that I don't want anybody to think that I'm telling them that when you find your soulmate that you're going to it's going to be all rainbows, butterflies, and unicorns. It's going to be far from that. There are still going to be challenges. Life throws crap at you every day, and there are going to be things at you. There are going to be things that upset your partner, and there are going to be things that will try to drag you apart, or have the potential to drag you apart if you're not on the same page, if you're not working in the same direction, if you're not trying to build each other up each day. And it's easy to be nice to each other, and it's easy to be cordial, but are you in it for the long term? Are you looking for that special someone? If you're just getting back into the dating world, I highly recommend against any serious dating. I highly recommend getting into a relationship with anyone until you've been able to date a few times, at least a few people, so you can experience different characteristics, so you can get to know different traits that you might want in your soulmate. If you're only trying to date one person and create a relationship out of that, good luck. That is just extremely rare. Really rare. That might have been something you could do back in your teenage years, in high school and college maybe. But where we didn't know what we know today, we didn't have the experiences that we have, and because we've all experienced life in different ways, and we've all experienced things that have molded who we are. And it's so important to recognize that we're not who we were. Dating today is even if we take the technology out of it, if we take the smartphones, if we take the texting and the emails, if we take all that out of it, dating is different today for all of us because we know so much more. We've experienced so much more. Some of it's hopefully most of it's good, but there's also some crap in there that none of us wants to relive again. And that's part of the importance of paying attention to all of the things that go on in a date. That's part of paying attention to all of the things that go on in a relationship. It's doesn't have to be an analytical it doesn't have to be an analytical process, but you do have to pay attention. You do have to recognize red flags. You do have to recognize warning signs of bad relationships. And some of you may recognize them easily, some of them you may not. If you have any questions, never hesitate to reach out to me and say, "Hey Rick, this is what's going on. What am I facing here?" And I'm more than happy to take a few minutes and jot a few notes for you. That's part of what I do. But paying attention, knowing what you're looking for, but also being crystal clear about what you're doing and why. And dating, just going out to go out, or just being friends to be friends. That's that's a that's a long term plan to go nowhere. And it is a plan. It's if that's what your plan is, to really go nowhere when you're dating. Again, if you're going to be just friends, fine, do things casually. If you're going to, just hang out now and then, or run into each other now and then. If you're going to date, okay, go and date. You can date a myriad of people and have a myriad of experiences, and that's okay. But when it comes time to start really getting serious about finding that one, it's you. That's when you get into courting. That's when you become exclusive. That's when you start doing the things that you start looking at. How do you develop a household? How are we going to start dividing household chores? How are we going to start dividing the bills? That's when you start getting serious about what life together would be like. And this is not something that's going to take one or two conversations. This is not only conversations, but it's experiences. Observing how your partner handles money, observing how your partner explores your city, observing how your partner keeps house, exploring any number of things. It's as much observation as it is discussion. And these discussions can be lengthy, they can be short. But it's all things that should be laid out on the table before you get into marriage. And again, the idea is, and I'm assuming most of you that are watching or listening are looking to move towards marriage. And when do you do that? How long does it take? Some of you are going to move a lot faster than others. And me personally, I think it takes a couple of years, a couple of seasons with somebody, so that number one, you can get to know them, and it takes roughly about a year to really start to see through those things, to see through a lot of things. But then it takes, then you start settling in and start making plans. And how do we do this? How do we do that? Where are we going to live? And it takes time to plan that. It's not something that just comes up poof, and in 15-minute conversation it's all settled. you know and and unfortunately too many people do that, and too many people don't think through all these things. If there's a significant age difference, is the younger partner prepared to be a caregiver? And there's what and so many of you will tell me age is just a number. It certainly is right now. But what happens, if you're like me, I'm 66. If she's 46, let's say, she's a 20-year difference. It's all well and good. I can still keep up fairly well. But in 20 years, I'm going to be 86. She's going to be 66. And so what kind of life is that going to be for her? Because my energy level is going to be significantly lower, or odds are that it's going to be significantly lower than it is today. And hers is going to be at least equal to what mine is today. So there's a huge difference, a huge gap. These are the things that you need to study. These are the things that you need to observe. These are the things that you need to talk about. And you can have nice conversations, But if you have no intention of moving forward, if you have no intention of looking forward with this person, it's and are just laying back and saying, "Oh, this is nice. We had a great conversation today." Okay, but the idea is that if you are seriously looking, don't put it in the friend zone. Start in the dating zone. Move it to the dating zone, and then move it to the courting zone after you've had some time to spend some time and see if they have all your must-haves and deal breakers, and make sure you have all their must-haves and none of their deal breakers. And these are all things that just happen. They don't just happen. You have to pay attention. You have to observe, and you have to have conversations. It's kind of a crazy to me, it's kind of a crazy idea to try to just randomly pick somebody and date and just use them as your go-to person, and just kind of observe and see if anything's going to come of it. I mean, there has to be some interest. There has to be some underlying desire to be with that person. They're not going to. The two of you are not magically going to just poof be in love with each other and then march down march down the aisle and create a new life together. It takes work. It takes time. It takes effort. And if you're in the friend zone with somebody, or even in the dating zone, there's not a lot of effort being put into the relationship. It isn't until you get to courting where the effort really starts to come in. And I know I've bounced around a bit here today, and I hope that's made sense for a lot of you. I hope that's made sense for all of you. But it's something that I find very important, that it's so easy to just neglect what you're doing or ignore what you're doing and just assume the other person's on the same page. And that's why it's so important to constantly have good communication, talk with each other. Are we going in the same direction? Are we not going in the same direction? If you're not going in the same direction, you can still be friends. It's just you're not going to be dating, or you're not going to be courting, and you're not going to be moving forward in the relationship. So it's a process, and it's not something that I want anybody to rush. I don't want anybody running away and saying, "Oh, if I want to get married, I've got to date seriously." No, it takes time. You meet somebody, you get to know them a little bit. You can start as friends, but it shouldn't last as friends for years and years and years. It needs to move forward, and you need to recognize either there's a romantic interest or there isn't. If there isn't, okay, move on. And that's not to say, I've heard stories of people who have gotten together after knowing each other for years and saying, "Wow, why didn't we recognize this earlier?" Well, part of it is because you've changed, you've evolved, you've grown. We all have, hopefully, because like I said earlier, our experiences have caused us to step out and grow in our lives. Our experiences have made us who we are today. So dating isn't anything like it was 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago for some of us. It's an ongoing process. So anyway, I'm trying to keep these shorter now, and we're at about 30 minutes or just under. So if you guys have any questions, pop me a question and I'll answer it real quick. Otherwise, I'll plan on seeing you all next week, next Monday for Monday Mastery. And watch for early next month or no later than mid-month. The shopping cart is going to be open for my online course, Dating Made Simple Academy. That's opening up again, and I'll keep you posted as we get closer. But that is something that's coming up, and I'm excited about to share that with you and hopefully a lot more people and help a lot more folks get on the right step, on the right track for dating and finding their soulmate. So anyway, with that, I hope you all have a great week. And if you have any questions in the meantime, shoot me a message or an email or a DM if you're on what is it, Instagram. That's it. So anyway, I hope you guys have a week. I'll see you next week. Love you guys. Thanks for being here.